On this episode of the podcast, I've got Jiu-Jitsu black belt and leg lock specialist Joe Baize. Local guy here from Kentucky. This is the second time on the podcast. He's a veteran of multiple submission grappling promotions, including EBI, Submission Underground, Fight to Win, Zapatero, and has competed in the ADCC and numerous other tournaments. A great guy to have on the podcast. This podcast was a little bit challenging, the fact that we were having some audio issues. So there are some parts of the podcast sound like they're a little bit cut or broken up. So, that was the best we could do. I appreciate you guys joining me. It was a great podcast.
You are now listening to the Jiu-Jitsu Therapist Podcast.
Where are you training right now? In Owensboro?
Yeah.
Awesome,
yeah.
Man.
Leaving there right now.
Yeah. You getting a lot of training in lately?
Yeah, getting quite a bit.
So are you still working right now, actually? Change the subject, but are you still, mining or?
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a I know we talked about it before, man. It's such a crazy-ass job.
Yeah, it's not too bad,
dude,
man.
It's nuts, man.
I just work a whole lot.
Well, besides that, the only thing would be that, going to do jiu-jitsu tournaments really isn't anything because you're freaking in a coal mine all day, I mean, it's not a lot shit more dangerous than that.
Well, I don't know, I think people get a different idea about what it's really like. I mean, don't get me wrong, every job is, I think it can be dangerous or whatever, but the job I have doing there now that I've had the last, few years now, it isn't really that bad.
Not too bad.
So I've got a pretty good gig.
Yeah. No, well, and I don't know, your perspective's probably pretty different than mine, though. I work in an office all day, pretty much. I'm not in the coal mine, so that kind of. I'm sure we have a different opinion on what a decent work environment is, I guess, or what we're used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine. Although I don't know, I don't know a lot about it, but I know it can be a dangerous job, but still.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of weird because I used to, I was a youth worker for the Department of Juvenile Justice for several years. And, ultimately I ended up, I've been in the coal mines almost 6 years now. But the thing is it's like when I worked for the state, it was, I had to watch everything I did.
Right.
I couldn't really, I couldn't, there's a lot of things I couldn't do that, I can do down there. I'm free,
All right. What are some of those things?
Well, I can have tattoos on my arms.
Okay.
If you've seen me now, I've got quite a few tattoos.
Yeah.
I can cuss, I guess. Just silly things like that.
Joe, I know we're getting a little off topic, man, but what are you have any tattoos that are really meaningful to you, or that you've gotten that you like?
People, I think their perspective on tattoos are really really bad. One arm of mine is kind of dedicated to Oriental stuff, just because I really like the old Japanese wood prints and stuff. And then there's one that it's kind of a jiu-jitsu tattoo. It's a samurai on the upper part of my right arm.
Right.
But if you look, because all mine are in black and gray, but if you look toward I guess one of his hands, he's holding a foot. And you have to look pretty hard, but that you can tell there's a samurai holding a leg. So that's kind of my throwback to jiu-jitsu. The other arm is comic book mercenaries. I've got Deathstroke and Whom is my favorite comic book character of all times.
Yeah. Deathstroke is?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I love that guy. Then I got, I've got a Deadpool tattoo, and then I've got a Taskmaster tattoo. Everybody thinks he's Skeletor.
I don't know what Taskmaster is. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he is a Marvel character.
I'm a big comic book nerd, man, but you're like deeper into that than I am, I guess.
No, I love comic books.
Man, yeah, well, I was like, I liked X-Men and stuff, you know. That was my big thing growing up. Watching the X-Men cartoons.
Yeah.
Those were amazing.
No. If you look at him, he looks like Skeletor. Like,
yeah, well, that's from He-Man.
That's why I know explaining.
Yeah. Did you see that Logan movie that came out?
You know, when I went up to EBI last time, went to watch it, and I'd worked the night before, and I'd got off work that morning and went straight and flew up to because I wasn't off the night before.
Right.
I went straight up to I guess it was Nashville. Flew out of Nashville to California. Yeah. And didn't have any sleep. I couldn't sleep on the plane, but I went up there. I tried to just stay awake and watch the movie, and it didn't work out.
Man, you slept through a good movie.
I know.
That movie was awesome, dude.
My buddy and training partner, like Jezere, was sitting beside me, and he was freaking slapping my face and stuff really bad. Slept through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't help it.
No, dude, that makes sense. I have to. And sometimes those theaters that have you ever been in the reclining seat ones? Have you ever been to any of those?
But that's what we were at. I'd never been to one.
Yeah, well, they got in Louisville. They got one too.
Falling asleep.
Like reclines. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I can't stay awake. This is ridiculous. But that's probably the last movie I stayed awake.
There's some dude I didn't. You did better than me. I fell asleep.
So transitioning to Jiu-Jitsu, I saw you were just competed in the Zapatero tournament recently, over this past weekend.
Yeah, I was at Zapatero this last weekend.
Where was that at?
Memphis.
Nice. And I just actually caught it on Facebook. I just saw it earlier. I think one of the guys, Chase, they were talking about kind of the matchups and stuff. They did like a little intro, like 20-minute intro or something. So I was just listening to kind of what they were talking about, who was out there, and you had a super fight, but that guy was like a last second replacement or something.
This guy wasn't. For fight to win, that happened to me. But I had to have a last second replacement.
For fight to win, you did?
This one, yeah. For fight to win, my guy was, which worked out. I ended up having a much tougher fight than what I would have had. Or a much tougher opponent, which I was happy about. I thought Clay Mayfield was a really, really good kid, man.
Right.
Real good guy. But a lot tougher than the guy I was supposed to fight before, so I was happy about that.
What? So, what was the guy at Zapatero? Wasn't a late replacement for you?
No, we'd been set to fight for a while. He's supposed to be, which he is. He's a good dude, man. He's very tough. Matt Scaff from 10th Planet Decor. He's under Brandon McCathering. Super good dude. One of the, I guess, sought after leg lock guys out there right now. Super good guy, but he's supposed to be 10th Planet's next rising up guy. So I was happy to fight him. Real good dude, though.
Is there anything about their style, that gives you problems, you think? Like as far as 10th Planet type stuff, like any of those guards or anything that you kind of deal with, or?
I think I so far, and it's not a competition thing, but to the best of my knowledge, I beat every 10th Planet guy that I faced. Submitted every one of them. I think I fought like 6 of them, 7, maybe 8. I don't know. I've not sat down and counted them out. I don't, do that stuff. But this last year I fought some really good 10th Planet guys, and they're great guys, man. But yeah, I've been fortunate, been able to submit them all. So, but I mean, so far, I would, love to face Nathan Orchard or Boogie. I'd love to face him or any of the other black belts. I feel like I've definitely faced some guys that are as tough as them that they've had. Like this cat was supposed to be, as tough as Orchard or something. I mean, no disrespect, but
you kind of cut out. Who are the guys that you said that you'd want to face?
Nathan Orchard,
right,
Boogie,
right.
Any of those guys. I mean, and I love Boogie, man, but it's nothing like that. It's just a competition.
Right.
And I just like to fight tough dude. The Orchard fight was supposed to happen, a few times. He's agreed to it. I don't really understand what the problem is. I'm not a trash talker, but I will say I'm confident that he knows ahead of time I would do leg locks and I would still be able to employ my game plan and submit him. I'm not going to talk trash on him or anything because I do respect him. I think he's very good, but I'm a more decorated grappler in competition than what he is. And, Miles, he's never won trials. We both have. He has made it to the finals and the EBI, but man, it's one of those things like the talent that are in the EBIs now are a whole lot tougher. Like, I don't know, you had Tonin, you got the guys still winning it. I don't want to sound bad here, but like everybody's freaking tough. It's not just maybe 2 or 3 guys. Like, everybody's elite level grapplers now.
Right.
It's crazy, but but yeah, that's a fight that definitely needs to happen. And and if it's not a case of him, he's already agreed to it, so he just needs to do it, man.
Right.
It's one of those things.
What did you think as far as being back in the EBI? So you had a little more time to prepare because you kind of knew this one was coming. This EBI. Is there anything that you worked on specifically to get prepped?
The 170 welterweight.
170.
Is what I competed in. I just trained super hard. I trained as hard as I could. I had that match with Gordon Ryan and Submission Underground. Of course, I ended up getting submitted by him, but it was one of those things, man. I learned a whole lot from that. At that level, for myself, you cannot let those guys have your back. It's not like it used to be. Like, right. I mean, even at the lightest of weights, like you bring up somebody like Gio Martinez, man, you cannot let that sucker have your back. He will finish you. Like, even the weight differences, it does not matter.
Do you think there was anything that you could have done differently against Gordon when you all went against each other?
Now there is. I feel it was a very competitive. I wasn't out of the fight. I swept him. I got to his legs. I had one really good attempt at the leg. Of course, I don't fight to go the distance. I was trying to catch him and finish him, but he did a really sneaky back take to me on me, and I didn't have the urgency that I should have had to maybe try and get out. Like, I thought, well, I'm going to, because I kind of used to mess around a whole lot with, I'd let somebody get a hook in and then I'd hip out to get the leg. Man, you can't do that to him. He gets your back. I mean, as far as me, my defense is going to have to come a whole long way. But, man, he finishes pretty much everyone when he gets their back.
Well, he's in that kind of environment, that rule set that, submission only, really no point. I don't think there wasn't any points of submission underground, correct? It was just kind of like EBI rules.
It's just EBI, but you thought Gordon's awesome, man. He's the dude right now. But the thing is you take away the back take. I'm in that fight. You know? Like I was definitely in that fight. He was very sneaky, but I learned a whole lot, man. Just like I said, I didn't quite understand. Like I was happy I got to exchange the leg locks with him, and I felt like if anything I had the advantage there. It wasn't like he was ahead of me, which that was one thing I didn't know. I was like, man, maybe he's going to twist me up, and then I felt like I was getting the better of the exchanges for sure, because I wasn't I wasn't the one that disengaged the leg attacks, but man, he's freaking good, man. He was better than me. I don't, there's not going to be any any of me like making a statement or something like, "Oh man, I just got caught," and all that. That cat was better than me, man. He beat me fair and square.
How did that match come about? Because it was kind of last second, matchup. What kind of happened?
Well, I was supposed to fight some brown belt from up in Portland, because it was kind of weird. At first, they were going to put me and Gordon together, like about a month out or so, and then they had switched it where they were going to put him with Monson. You know, I can't argue that. Monson would deserve the fight off of his accolades, you know, everything he's won. I can't argue that. So, you know, I was just happy. I was still getting the fight there. I was fighting I was supposed to fight one of the, I guess another one of the 10th Planet guys from out there. Because it was another thing. I was supposed to fight Orchard originally, and for like the second or third time, but he, for whatever reason, couldn't do it. And then it got switched that I was going to fight Gordon Ryan. Didn't happen because it was going to be him and Monson. Well, I don't know what was going on with Monson or whatever, but like they were making me a replacement. Like if anything happened to Monson, I was supposed to come in and take the fight against Ryan. So we get up to the week, like, you know, a couple weeks before it had been canceled. I didn't think I'd be fighting Gordon. You know, I thought I was going to be fighting that the brown belt or whoever. All
right, Joe. So I was going to ask you, man. We were trying to get back on the like how you got with Gordon Ryan's matchup with Gordon Ryan at Submission Underground. You said that you had a training partner, or I'm sorry, you had an opponent, and then Gordon had Jeff Monson. Monson pulled out, so you said within that week you were going to be like were you told, or how long before were you told that you were going to go against Gordon?
I was told the day before.
Did you ever have say, no, man, I'm not ready, or I don't know?
No, but here's the thing, and I have no regrets for that. Like, I took EBI my first EBI with a week notice, and that's really, you know, I didn't have the performance that I wanted, but I did well enough that everybody kind of, you know, on a world stage, I guess, figured it out that, you know, hey, he's actually good. He's the, you know, kind of the real deal as far as, you know, the rumors and stuff. I kind of proved, you know, that my ability where everybody, I finally, you know, got a chance to prove my ability. If I'd have turned that down because I said, would have been like, oh, I'm not ready.
For sure.
And this last week, and I'm calling out a lot of people here, so if you feel wronged by it, I guess get over it. But they had that Zapatero in Tennessee. You know, Quentin Rosenberg and Hector Lombard, for whatever reason, you know, I'm good friends with Quentin. I don't know what it was. I've never heard of him pulling out of anything, so I'm sure he had a good reason. I don't know about Lombard. I know he tends to do it quite a bit. But they, for whatever reason, ended up, you know, having to pull that week. Well, it got the day before, and there was still, you know, 2 vacant spots. And I got a hold of, you know, Josh Ledoux, and I was like, the promoter of Zapatero, and I was like, man, the spots still aren't filled. And he's like, I just don't know a lot of people down through there. And I was like, man, no problem. I was like, I'm going to start making calls. I was like, this won't take anything. I called everyone. And, you know, there was only one person. It was my buddy Randall from Pelaharis, under Jeremy Akins, who took the match. 150 pounds.
Yeah, so 155 and 195.
But they had a chance to go against, I think there were 6 black belts in the division, EBI veterans, ADCC veterans, and a chance at $2,000, a huge tournament. Like, they would have never have gotten invites to that. I mean, I'm not trying to sound bad to them, but, all these people I called, none of them took it. Sorry, I was like, guys don't get shots around here because they don't have the balls to take them.
Right.
You know, you stop everything. When opportunity knocks, you stop everything.
Yeah.
That it's like they only want to fight a fight where they feel victory is certain. Man, I ain't got no respect for that. Those shots should have been filled. Now there is going to be a Zapatero coming soon, and it'll be the same thing. There's going to be some tough dudes in it, but I'm not for sure what weight class they're doing, but it's going to be coming close again. And I'll let Ledoux, talk about that. But I believe it's going to be in July. And I really hope guys do a lot better job if they're asked than what has happened. Because, man, I've lost a lot of respect for the competitor spirit with a lot of guys. Because, man, when opportunity knocks, you got to answer that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you get a name made. You don't get everything perfect. Not everything's going to be perfect. Like I said, had a week before EBI. I had a very important match one time. Had been forever before I had gotten that. Like I kept on getting turned down for stuff, and I finally got a match set up. Less than 10 days out, I hurt my leg really bad at work. I had to get 11 stitches in my leg. Peeled it all the way to the bone. What do you think I did for that match? I didn't back out of it. I put spats on where nobody could see that I had stitches in my leg, and I went and I fought my fight. And so, of course, because I still trained on it, it didn't heal. It got infected, and I got a horrible scar from it. But, that's probably the reason, because I beat a really good dude there that helped me get into EBI, because that person had gotten an invite, and when Eddie had to see that, video several times of me submitting that person that he'd given an invite to, it ultimately was like, well, I got to give this guy a shot, and it worked out. So if I hadn't have done that, I may not have even gotten an EBI. So my sacrifice was worth it.
Joe, what do you think? Like, I watched that Wagner Rocha fight that you had with. Man, I don't know. Like, you had great sportsmanship and stuff, but man, I don't know. I feel like the guy was a little bit dirty.
Man, it's like this. Like, I've known Wagner for a while. I really like Wagner. Didn't do anything outside of the rules. I wasn't upset with him. If anybody, I'm upset with myself. Like, I think he got really frustrated that he couldn't pass my guard. And so he started doing that stuff, which isn't going to bother me. And then in return, he just played a good game. He, only passed to one side, kind of opened up a thing that he, would pass to my weak side, but still, I can retain my guard. But he got really frustrated because he couldn't pass and, was doing whatever he had to do to try to open up. I wasn't really comfortable. I've worked on it since, but at that point, going for legs, in a lot of transitions from there, I would try to invert, and he would back out and restart. Man, It screwed me up bad. I mean, horribly bad. We got in about 7 minutes, and I was like, nothing has happened this whole fight. I've not gotten off any attempts, and that's not like me. Like anybody who watches me fight, it's like, knows I'm wide open, but it was just like kind of, that different pace of fight. And I was like, heck with it. I don't care if I got a position or not, because I knew he wasn't going to pass on me, and so I was like, I'm taking a chance. I'm 7 minutes in or whatever. So I went ahead and I tried to force a leg lock attempt from the other side. He came through, of course, passed. I wasn't sorry for it because I got my only leg lock attempt of the whole match when I did that. The only thing that I'm sorry for is that I didn't start doing that at the beginning, because I was able to, pretty easily get my guard back. But, I mean, he's just so good from the back. And overtime, everybody's like, man, that really hurts your nose. It did really hurt my nose, but it also crunched my neck like super bad.
Yeah.
Like I was in bad shape for a while after that. Like because I had to move with him when he, cranked at the nose, and then my neck just started falling apart. Like that was pretty painful. I won't lie. Like I thought I'd actually really hurt myself at first from the submission. in overtime.
I mean, he did kind of like go across your nose initially, though. I mean, I guess that's kind of within the rules.
Yeah, it's legal. I mean, I have nobody to blame in that myself. Like, it was a fight. Like, the fight went completely different than what I thought. Like, I thought it was going to be a lot more wild and stuff, but like, obviously got a lot to work on. But I've got a lot better half guard than what even from my weak side, like than what people I think they think of my leg locks, and that's the only thing that gets brought up. They don't know about my deep half, my quarter, my half better. They don't know about the game I can play from half guard. But I mean, I think they're starting to see. But with that being said, man, he shut me down. It was good for him. But if we fight again, and it's a possibility in the future, like I've been asked in a super fight with him, like a 20-minute one or whatever else. I'll fight whoever. I've never turned down a.
Is there a certain rule set you prefer?
No, not really. As long as I can, do heel hooks and stuff, I don't care.
I kind of thought, the fight to win format for me, I like that a lot because a lot of time, like in EBIs, the guys will really sell out and give position up. I mean, which is not. It's kind of. I don't know. It's just not the way I play jiu-jitsu, or I don't feel like the way jiu-jitsu should be played. I don't know, because guys will just really sell out or give a position. I like the fact that there's judges and maybe there's no points, but somebody wins. You don't kind of go into overtime.
I can understand. I could go both ways. I don't care, but like, this is the thing. Like, as a competitor, the fight to win, of course, is especially for my style, because the overtime doesn't really benefit me, but for the uneducated person or the, like we've watched Matamoros, and that was a horrible setup, and we've watched EBI, and they've seemed to have found the right thing to make it grappling popular and make people want to watch it. So,
but like that's the thing though. Some guys will just not really engage, and then once they get to overtime, that's how they win. Yeah,
it's starting to be seen more and more. But
do you feel like EBI is kind of more exciting than like the fight to win format?
Oh, for sure. Because like, man, like you've seen. Right now, you've seen Gordon Ryan facing the Hulk guy or whoever.
What was that in?
Fight to win. And
was that? Well, that one was did Hulk win?
No, Gordon got the decision, but like kind of nothing happened. I believe.
Right.
If he knew that. And I'm not picking sides on either one of them, but I believe if the other guy would have known that there was going to be an overtime where you could, Gordon would be started from your back or whatever else, he would have fought that fight completely different than what he did. And that makes people go at people because they're like, oh, crap, I can't go to it. Because that's kind of how I am.
That's a really good point. That's a good point. Are you in that Zapatero coming up? There's like this weekend or?
No, it's not this weekend. The next Zapatero I'm in will be, I guess, the first weekend of June, I believe.
Awesome. Who are you going against?
I'm going against Mike Padilla. I'm actually, honored they're going to let me main event their show again. I'm going to be facing Mike Padilla, real good black belt out of Pennsylvania. He's ultra tough. I believe and him are both guys that, like, we both got their credentials, like we're both EBI veterans, Zapatero veterans, atop of, a lot of other things, and a lot of guys want to. I don't want to sound too bad, but I always want the toughest fight I can possibly get. I want you know, I want it to mean something if I win. And I feel like some guys aren't quite like that, so they may not, you know, test themselves like they should. But he's one of those guys people avoid. I'm one of those people that definitely people avoid. So this will be awesome. We'll get to fight, you know.
Why do you think people avoid him? Is there anything he does
just
really
tough.
well?
Yeah, just a tough guy. Real good leg locks, real good overall jiu-jitsu. Been a black belt for a long time. I had a lot of success in the finishers tournament as well. I don't want to say it wrong. I guess that's up in the New Jersey area. Got, a lot of talent up there. But just a tough dude. You know, just like I said, both of us are, kind of those guys that a lot of people don't want to fight. So it's kind of cool we're getting to fight each other.
Joe, why do you think that? Since you've been on EBI twice and you've been, fight to win. Like, why do you think people are avoiding you?
Just some of them. It's been that way always. I'm not really complaining because now, I'm getting the fights.
Right.
Actually,
it seems like you're getting them now.
Yeah, I'm getting them now, but just like I don't know, with the Nathan Orchard, I don't know what the deal is with him, but on paper, I've got more accolades than what he has. He might be a little more popular because he's out there a little, in an area where he can be seen more. But as far as like competitive wise, I believe if somebody is going to fight me or fight him, they'll definitely be like, man, Joe's the tougher fight, just off of, based off our performances. But, Nathan's really tough. I got a lot of respect for him. I like him, but it's a fight that's needed to happen for a long time now. He's agreed to it. I have as well. I don't really understand what's happening or what has happened, but it's obviously a fight fans would want to see, so I'll just keep on, doing, grinding like I am and, slowly, making a come up, I'm not going to talk trash about anybody or anything else, but if somebody turns down a fight that they have agreed to do, I will point that out. So that's him.
How do those matches come together, just in general? Like, are you just getting more calls now, or are they offering you people?
I get since I've been dropping down weight, stuff has helped me a whole lot. Like I've been able to get a lot more matches, and I'm building up my resume where I'm able to slow, because these guys are not afraid of anybody, like freaking the Danahower guys,
right?
I love all of them, but I want to fight them too. It's one of those deals. Like it's getting to where now where it's like, hey, it makes sense to put him against him, and that's what I'm happy about. Like I can't say a whole heck of a lot, but I will put it like this: in the next little bit, there may be a possibility that I'll be fighting AJ Zagerman or Agerzon. My bad. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So like with you being, have you been competing like almost every weekend now? Is that, do you feel like kind of you've got the ball rolling, kind of like a snowball effect? Like now, since people have seen you on TV, seen you on EBI, the matches starting to roll in.
Oh man, it's one of those deals, especially around here. There'll always be those guys that really want to test themselves. Just like at the last Zapatero I fought in, that Matt Scaff, super cool guy, just had like a awesome performance against I forget what the black belt's name was, but he's like a third degree black belt, won some stuff in Brazil and everything, and Scaff did awesome. Ended up Darce choking him, I think. But it was one of those things. I was kind of in the dark too. I was like, man, I don't know how this is going to go. And instead of being like, man, he needs to fight somebody else where I can see what his game's like for real, I didn't care. I was just going to see what happened. Maybe I was like, man, maybe he'll Darce choke me. It wasn't a thing of fear. If he beats me, great. I want to find out what my problems are where I can possibly fix them and become better. But luckily, I was able to, catch him in a straight ankle lock, and he comes from a good leg lock gym with a McCatherine's, which I have a lot of respect for Brandon and Brandon McCatherine and of course 10th Planet, got huge respect for them. All of them are doing a lot of leg locks, but McCatherine always has, and so it was good to because I was kind of like, man, he comes from them. They've got really good leg locks, so I was happy I was still able to incorporate my game and in finishing.
Is there anything about like the 10th Planet system that gives you problems that you can think of, or like anything that is different? Or I mean, obviously they play some different positions, but as far as leg locks go, anything that you see they do differently that may give you problems?
There is, man, with 10th Planet, it's kind of like Gracie Ball Hall. And I'm like Gracie Ball Hall is awesome, but like, man, they've got the best competitors there. Mm-hmm. Like, for overall, like, I mean, it's, if you go over like how many divisions and stuff, they're just so huge. They've got so many competitors, but like, if you look at, so what I mean is a school somewhere is not going to be like William Hall's school. Mm. There's big differences between the skill changes. That being said, 10th Planet's an awesome system. I'm not saying that I respect it. I study it a whole lot. A lot of my game has to do with that. So I don't want to get caught wrong when I say this, but it needs to be said too, because I feel like Gio and Gio Martinez and that school is definitely above the other ones, but they need that respect. They need that respect of being like, hey, this is. You go to Portland, it's not like you're going to Geo school to night and day, both of them were great schools. I'm not saying Geo and those guys are the tough branch, what I'm saying? Like that's your headhunters right there.
Right.
So, but I mean, as far as their style goes, currently in competition, I'm undefeated, and I've submitted all the 10th Planet guys I face, so I don't. So far, I haven't posed a problem. No, I was just saying, like so far, but there's a lot of them out there. You got a bunch of these guys coming up, like PG Branch, I believe is his name. There's, of course, Geo's awesome. Yeah, I mean, man, there's a ton of these guys. Who knows? Maybe they can beat me. I don't know. I haven't. Of course, I'm not even in the same weight class as Geo or whatever. I'll never be that small. But I'm just saying, man, that it's just kind of like what it is right now. And just so far, I've been I've beaten the 10th Planet people I've faced so far. Do you feel like as far as like you seem to have had and we saw you in the Fight to Win in Nashville, like you constantly having like opponent changes or people or they're moving you up or moving you around? Do you feel like that kind of does that mess with you a little bit? Does that bother you to like your game plan? To get an opponent change kind of last minute? No, that didn't bother me so much. The guy I ended up going against was a much tougher fight than the one that I would have faced before, so I was happy to do it.
That was the Fight to Win, correct?
Yeah, the Fight to Win. So it didn't really bother me, like I wasn't. I mean, I wanted to fight and fight to win. I love that fight there as much as I can, in the future. But you never overlook anyone. If you would have known, as far as if you were going to go against Gordon, I know you, as far as going against Gordon Ryan, do you think there's anything you would have done differently or you would have game planned? Like you said that you're kind of a last minute replacement for him, or like I guess you knew a few days beforehand. Would you have done anything in preparation differently for that match? No, I don't feel like I would have. Honestly, walking away from that, like I learned, like it's like each time I face one of those guys that level, I take a little bit from it, and I'm getting closer and closer each time. Like because I don't look at him and Vadner Rocha that far apart. Okay. And like I did which I wasn't as happy because I got to some good exchanges in the Ryan fight, until he took my back. Then it was his game, but like it was a good fight up until that happened. In the Rocha match, he man, it was just a grinding fight. It was a different one, but I was definitely not out of my element. I've definitely proven I'm at that level. So each time I get those fights, I'm getting better. I'm fixing my holes. I had a big thing I took away from the Gordon Ryan match is guys that level, you cannot let them get your back. I mean, man, people have gotten so much better at finishing than what they used to, and and it's not like I've fought Chunch before. I've faced Adolfo Vieira. I'm telling you, man. I mean, which he was all over me, but again, it wasn't a fight where I just got ran over, and that one, had a pretty good battle in that. I think it went, 7 minutes or something, but I mean, still, loss is a loss. He submitted me, but I know it was, and I escaped the back a few times against him. I've faced Fogelin, had my back a few times when I faced him in EBI, and I was able to, I was basically set up leg lock attacks off of it until, he did catch me at the end in a choke from there. But like then I faced like Ryan, and I'm telling you, it was something different when he had my back. That's just his game. I feel like he's the best that there is from there right now.
What do you feel like was different about when he had your back? Like, did he do anything that was unique or they hadn't done before?
Matt, this is the best way I probably know how to explain it. It's just that, man, he's so good at like switching from things. Like he can switch from a body triangle to rear naked to a triangle, like to armbar, or he just chains them together so well.
Yeah, makes sense.
So really, really, from that position, he's tough, man. That's why I think he's going to be always extremely hard to beat under EBI rules. Because even if you go to overtime with him, you're going to end up having to stop. Yeah.
What rule set do you like? Is there one that you prefer? The fight to win is really just you have a judge's decision, no overtime or submission, no points. EBI obviously is submission or overtime. And submission underground, I think, was a similar EBI format. I mean, you've done ADCC and all kinds of other stuff. Is there a certain format you feel like that you prefer?
For me, as long as you can do, the heel hooks and stuff, which you can pretty much do in all of them, I don't complain, because I try during the time limit to either win or lose before then.
Right.
So if it ends up going the distance, I'm normally not real happy about it. And then if it goes to overtime, like you play that game of taking the back and everything, it's still not. I mean, you end up catching someone. It gives people closure that are watching it.
Right. Do you? I mean,
Hello?
On like EBI, for example, like a lot of times guys are really selling out, like they're giving up positions. I mean, do you feel like that's a good way to practice jiu-jitsu? I mean, like kind of, you're always taught position before submission, but you got guys just giving up, side control to try to bait guys for positions and stuff or submissions.
I think some of the guys doing this, you got to look, because I know what you're talking about a little bit. You got to look at the level of competitor that they're doing that against. Like, they're not going to purposely give some of these guys side control. They'll pay for it.
Right.
But you'll watch the ones do that. They're doing it against guys that can't. They're not real worried about them. So I don't think it's necessary. It's a thing of like everybody's doing it against everyone, because like I would love that if they do stuff like that. Yeah, I'd love it if they give me their leg right at the beginning. That'd be awesome. I mean, please do that.
Do you? I mean, have you like change your training up now since you're kind of competing on a regular basis? I mean, you're pretty much. I mean, I don't even know. Last time we talked, you did the EBI, and you've done the EBI since. You've done Submission Underground. You've done the Fight to Win, Zapatero, Tennessee, top. What's the one? There's one in Tennessee as well. You did.
Tennessee Top Roller.
Yeah, I mean, you've done all these. Like, are you doing anything? Are you kind of more training like for maintenance, or are you still like putting in a lot of? Because I mean, you're kind of competing at a high level. I mean, is there anything you're changed up?
Well, man, those matches just kind of happen like that. Like, no, I train hard, every day. I know I work and stuff, but that's not an excuse. I still train. Dudes that weigh like over 300 pounds and stuff. Even today, like I went up to Georgetown and I had like a bunch of tough rolls, against their guys, Cody, Jerry, but, just several of those dudes just, giving me hard rolls. And, like Cody's over 300 pounds and he moves really well, or he may be close to it. I'm not really for sure what he weighs. He may not be quite 300, but competingly and grappling isn't the same as what it is MMA, because MMA, you got to do all those facets. I do kind of see if you were to do that and was going to have a chance at really being good at it, it would need to be a full-time job. Grappling's not the same way.
You feel like you can focus more on just one aspect of it and you don't have to train, you don't have to split your time as much.
No, not at all. Like, it's doable, like, I mean, I think I've at least proved that, like I'm still getting better and everything, and I'm, I work a full-time job.
Are you doing any kind of cardio, any kind of like strength training on the side, or just you're basically just grappling?
I always do. I normally will, do little kettlebells, little weights, run. I actually had an injury to my arm for a little bit, but it's finally, it was killing me for about 3 months, so I didn't get to quite lift. I'm back to getting to mess with it now.
Yeah. So what happened to your arm?
I'm not really for sure. Just, tweaked the elbow really bad. And,
was it during rolling?
Yeah, I was during rolling, and, just was driving for I was doing some sort of sweep or something, was driving for it, ended up just, I guess, landing on my arm wrong, and it hurt forever. It's just now getting better. It's been like 3 months ago. But
3 months? Yeah. I actually had an injury, and people have heard me talk about it all the time. I planted, and I fractured my arm, and it was terrible pain. I mean, my hand was swollen. It probably took me 6 months to recover. So, I mean, I don't know. You didn't hear like a pop or anything like that? It just felt like something kind of hyperextended?
Yeah, it didn't pop or nothing. It just, when I did it, I knew it hurt, but I figured I started getting worried. I was like, man, I don't know how long this is going to last for, but it's good now. I mean, I still did all my matches and stuff with it. It wasn't like something that kept me back, but yeah, it's better now.
How'd you work around your injury? Did you just change your training? Did you change positions you worked on, or I mean, did you do one arm training? I mean, what'd you do?
I just put a muscle ointment on it and put a rash guard over it and trained.
Just went after it?
Yeah. It was inconvenient, but most of the time when it got warmed up, it was okay. Now,
sounds like probably like maybe like some kind of ligament, maybe something you did hyperextended somehow, and just that's what it sounds like. That's good, man. Yeah. That's good. So you've been fairly injury free though for a while.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I've everybody gets their bumps and bruises. That's anytime you, I feel like anytime you train, like if you train hard, you're always going to hurt.
Right.
You're living sore if you're, like, I don't know, even if you train 2 days a week and you train hard, you're still going to, feel pretty crappy.
Yeah, definitely feel like you did something.
Yeah.
Are you doing any kind of anything for like just your soreness? Is there anything you do to kind of keep your body healthy? Is there anything you do besides just the muscle ointment?
I had to take I take vitamins.
Just vitamins, like no massages or nothing like that, like any kind of stretching that you work on?
Oh yeah, I mean I do a lot of stretching. I always do. But that's it. Yeah, I stretch, I guess. That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. Do you have like a specific warm up routine you like to do before you train?
Not really. I always will do like some little yoga stretches and stuff, but that's in the mornings if I make sure I drill and I run a little bit and everything, I definitely feel better.
Yeah.
Like, when I wake, because I'll come home, do a little workout, go to sleep, and then when I wake up, I'll drive to Owensboro and train. That's pretty much my, except for on Wednesdays and the weekends. So like 4 days a week, that's pretty much my routine. On Wednesdays, I normally train in the morning, and then on Saturday, Sunday, I train in the mornings. So
that's cool, man. Yeah, is there? I was just going to ask you: is there any? Since you said you're still getting better, with competing, and is there any part of your game you're trying to improve, like focus on more than others? I mean, obviously your leg lock game is excellent. Is there anything you're trying to work on to get better at?
Well, I mean, with my leg locks, I want that to be known. I still got a lot of holes. I still got a lot of things that I'm constantly working to improve, because I don't know, people will say like, yeah, this guy's a leg lock master, that one's an arm lock master. It doesn't exist. You cannot max out the technique. It ever improves if you'll look to do that. But yeah, I'm consistently, looking at new things with the legs, trying to improve those. I got Max Bishop really helping me along, and the guys at Georgetown getting more and more hip to my game all the time. They give me a tough time, which helps me in return make them better. And then all the guys at Nice Guy, Desiree, Chase, Mo, Nikki, Bobby, Dave, Brokaw, just goes on and on. I can't even mention them all. I got so many that even guys you don't hear about, they don't even compete. Like Chase's dad is one of my toughest roles, and he's like 50 years old, and he's so freaking strong. It's crazy. He's only like 200 pounds too, and he feels like he weighs 300.
Do you feel like you have more pressure on you? I mean, somebody says, you're a leg lock master or whatever. Do you feel like that's the way you have to play? I mean, do you feel like you're kind of stuck in that box, so to speak?
No, not really. Man, it boils down because I've gotten in the past when I was younger, because you and me both know we've been in this game a long time. We've been fortunate to see a lot of stuff. I did kind of at one time get a little bit more pressured than what I do now. Now, if you notice, I try to stay as calm as I possibly can always. Mm-hmm. And the thing is like Dave really explained this well to me. He's a black belt at our gym, and pretty much consider him like a coach because he helps me out with a whole lot of things. I know I may have, per se on paper, be a higher degree, like black belt or whatever than him, but I feel like he's a much better teacher than me in the overall knowledge of jiu-jitsu. He's got a lot better knowledge of it. We've got a pretty good ego-free environment, so I'm able to, listen, and he's helped me like a ton, like with a lot of things. And like, he'll do the homework and look at things that you're struggling with, or that other competitors can give you trouble with, and he'll do the video footage on competitors and stuff where you're not the only one having to do it. And, it really helps me there. So it's one of those things, like with being having pressure of being called like a leg lock expert or anything like that. I mean, man, at this point, this stuff is very fun to me. I'm having a blast right now. I'm trying to be in the moment, and that's what I was saying that Dave talked about. He was like saying, win or lose, be there and enjoy it. Those people are there to watch you compete. That's why your game has been so exciting for people. Like, that's why they're wanting to see you. That's why you're getting brought into these shows. So win, lose, whatever, go out there, do your best game, and just enjoy it.
Do you feel like you're finally getting your due? Like we talked about last time, that you didn't know how much longer you're going to compete on a high level. I mean, do you feel like this has kind of recharged your batteries and gotten you more motivated to continue to stay on top of your game, continue to be in these shows?
The things that motivate me the most is this right here. We have Chase Davis. We have Ethan, who's a young one that I think has a ton of potential. Man, it goes on and on. We got a bunch of young ones. We got Nikki. She's won some stuff at purple belt, but she's getting an honest bid of, getting looked at, since she, had that strong. She didn't win, of course. I know none of us are happy because we always want the best result. But that being said, she had an awesome performance at trials, and placed second. Did really well. So she's on the right track now. One of my biggest goals now, and I feel like it's definitely going to happen, is just to see more of our guys get, and it not be just me getting the EBI and getting it into these bigger shows, to where they're starting to, where it's not a thing of me. Because if I do right, if I do what I'm supposed to, those guys are going to be a lot better than me when this is over with. So that's my biggest drive is making sure that they're getting better. But with the weight drop, it has gave me a new life because, man, it's crazy. And this is really going to happen. Like, I'm going to fight in the EBI 155-pound one. And, like, man, they're going to have to deal with me at 155 pounds. Like, I think I've got a really good shot. I haven't lost any strength. I'm slowly coming down, just like that fight with Padilla, I'm very well could be in the same one, but we'll both be at 160. So that pretty much solidifies me, not having a problem making 155, just like the last fight in Zapatero, I made 165. So, like, man, I think I've got a really good shot of, at this point, I don't think it's shocking anyone, but more or less just doing what I'm capable of doing. I think dropping weight, it's easier to get fights, but it's like, honestly, and it's my own fault. Years ago, like when I was, competing at like 230, 220, and that was me being lazy. There's no reason I should have weighed that much. I've wasted a lot of my time when I could have actually did some damage in grappling, being that big. I'm a smaller person. I'm not any weaker than what I was when I was bigger. My muscle and stuff I've had, not that I'm a big dude. I'm not saying that, but I've kept my size and everything.
What weight do you prefer to just whatever, under 170, or is there a weight you prefer to be at?
The lightest, I'd say, would be the best. I think 155 will probably be. I'm not going to go any lower than that. Now, depending on how I feel, the next trials, which I won't lie, like a lot of people asked me about why I didn't do trials this time and everything. And it, was a personal decision. But 55's definitely the weight I'm wanting to ultimately compete at. They're between, 155 and 170 is where I'd like to do my matches. But if I would have went to trials this time, because I'm leaving myself open for next year to take a break if I want, because I still haven't decided exactly what I want to do. Right now, I'm just kind of going with the moment. I'll make my decision next year. But if I would have went to trials, and I don't know, there's some really tough dudes there like Wagner and everything. But, again, those guys aren't out of my skill level. Me beating one of them's not like a shock, It could very well happen. Like, if I would have went there and I'd won, or if I'd have went there and did well, or if I'd have went there and got just smoked my first match, every one of those would have led back to me still being tied. Like, man, I got to come back and do one more.
Right. When's the EBI coming? How much time do you have to get ready for that?
I still don't know. We haven't talked. This is my confirmation I have so far on it. That night I talked to Eddie, and he said, all I got to do is make 55, and he'll give me an invite in that one.
Joe, so like, what's the process of, like, do you get a phone call from Eddie Bravo? How does he contact you? I'm just curious.
Actually, Bobby Emmons took care of all my stuff with Eddie Bravo.
So he just what does he do? How does he reach out to you guys?
He.
I think you err on the side of caution. To be honest with you, I think you try not to offend people. Like, I think you try really hard not to. And sometimes, like, I just want to hear, like, what you really feel. You know?
Yeah, man. If I said what I really feel, people would really be offended.
Why? Why do you say that? Why do you feel like you have to censor what you say?
Why do I feel like I have to censor what I say?
Yeah.
Because if I say exactly the way that I feel in the way that it really is, then I don't know.
I think that's what people want to hear, though. That's why, that's why I think people would listen, is because they want to hear what you really feel, man. Because you're not a guy that says a lot. You know what I mean? You kind of let your grappling do the talking. You're very respectful. You're more than respectful of every opponent I've seen. You take time to talk to people. I don't know, like, why do you feel like you can't say exactly what you feel? Like, I mean, as far as people in the community, I know there's obviously been other things that we're not going to discuss, but as far as people you've competed against, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Jiu-Jitsu is a pretty cool community if you think about it.
I worry, man, here's the thing, and I think a lot of these guys forget about it, is, man, what I say and do is reflected by my guys, and what I mean is if they see me do something, if they see me talk some crap or, because they know everything that goes on.
Right, they know kind of the details, yeah.
If I step out, and I mean, it's not just to them, it's to everyone, but if I step out and I say and I'm not perfect, I'm not saying that at all, but if I go and run my mouth, talk some shit, act a fool, about this guy or that guy, about, at the end of the day, a grappling match, which is something I'm doing as hobby.
Right.
I set a bad example to begin with, for one, and I taint our sport a little bit.
Right.
Man, some guys, and this is happening bad right now, all right, Jiu-Jitsu's starting to remind me a little bit of what MMA was. Because I remember when I first started fighting in hook and shoot, I mean, those guys were all skilled, everybody trained, and everything was so respectful to each other. And then the MMA came to Kentucky, and man, so did the white trash. And they can get mad or people can get offended. Man, started running their mouths, and they weren't skilled for the most part. They didn't know anything that they were talking about, and it just got bad. And I feel like that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, the skill level is as high as it's ever been in MMA now. Mm-hmm. But it's tainted. It's like turned into pro wrestling, like how they run their mouths and crap. I don't even watch it anymore.
Right.
Jiu-Jitsu is starting to head that way. It bothers me bad. You'll have guys come out and have lackluster performances and then just start still digging at the person in front of all these people when you're wearing a black belt.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll say it, like Dylan Dennis, when I was, the match I lost to, to Gordon Ryan, when I went out there, I was just like, dude, for one, I mean, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but he's still unproven. What I mean by that is he hadn't won Mundials. I mean, the guy, if I fought him, it's a toss-up. It don't even mean that he's going to go kill me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely not out of my ability range, but for him to to say the things he says and cuss and all the. It's just like, man, you're wearing a black belt. Like, and you're not even the best black belt by far. Like, I mean, it's cool that you're friends with Conor McGregor or whatever, but
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much what you're known for.
Uh-huh.
And you're a Marcelo black belt, which Marcelo ended up kicking out him and I don't know much about the other guy, so I can't really say much. I know he's really good though. But
do you agree with him doing that? I mean, is that something you feel like was?
I think. Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you this, man. I think it was a very hard thing for Marcelo to do. I think it was very hard for him to do, but I think it set an example. And he really didn't kick him out. I think he just kind of suspended him.
Yeah, told him to take a break, kind of.
Yeah, like change. I mean, the power's in their hands. All they got to do is change. And, I mean, really, I believe if he put as much focus into because he's definitely talented, but if he put as much focus into his jiu-jitsu as what he has the other things and acting like I don't know, like from what I've heard, I mean, I don't really understand the thing, but it's all a show. He trains at a really expensive academy that you get to in order to get to.
Right.
And he didn't start out like a killer, so apparently he had to pay to be able to go there, so he doesn't come from humble beginnings. There's no reason to act like a thug. So
from your perspective, it's just more of a respect thing. Like you feel like where the sport is going, you just feel that, trash talking or, saying stuff, you feel like that's just kind of not where you feel like the sport you want it to go, not where you see it going or not where you want it to see it go, I guess.
Well, there's right ways and wrong ways to do it, I think. Like Gordon Ryan wearing around a crown, that stuff's funny.
Right. I
mean, don't get me wrong, it's a gimmick, and he'll say some stuff, but he's really not MF this and stuff like. I mean, he's being funny about it. I know it works people up, but I mean, that's good. I don't have anything in the world against that. I really think it's funny.
Okay.
But the stuff Gary Tonin does, fine, and then there's several guys that'll do things like that. But when you get to cussing and shoving and, basically almost getting in fights before jiu-jitsu, I mean, go fight MMA if you want to do that.
Right. Well, I think he is. I think he's signed with Bellator. Dennis did. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a whole other world, man.
Yeah, it's a whole other world.
Hopefully, but
he does represent jiu-jitsu, though, so I do
for
hope
sure.
he does.
And Marcelo, who's one of the guys I've looked up to and I've, watched, and he seems just like one of the nicest guys, just really.
Yeah, he is, man, and I believe he's one of them. If he wanted to make a comeback, Marcelo's game never quit working. He just stopped competing. Like, I think he would still, people ask all the time, I don't know how how Marcelo could do against a Tonin or these guys. It's not even about, Tonin. How would he do against a Lucas Lepre or a Davey Ramos or, one of these guys? I think he would submit them.
He's incredible.
I know.
Man.
Yeah, man. But they're not even on the. I mean, I couldn't see him and Lepre fighting each other, anyways. But David Ramos or whatever, I do. I love watching him. I'm a big fan of him, but I feel like Marcelo would submit him. But that's like my favorite grappler of all time.
Yeah,
so of course
I'd say Marcelo's mine as well, for sure. And we had a seminar like last year with Bernardo Faria, and he's obviously trains out there with Marcelo, and he's just I had him on the podcast, and he was just kind of telling me kind of how he came to the States and stuff, and started kind of training and with Marcelo and teaching under Marcelo and stuff, and it was just really cool. It seems like just Marcelo's a really genuine guy, really nice guy, kind of honest, says what he means and does what he says, and I think that's a cool thing. That's a good quality.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's that's the kind of and that's what I'm saying. If we're really exciting, which I feel like EBI is very exciting,
right?
With the like for the spectator to watch, because we've talked about that. Like somebody's going to fight differently. Like if you're one of these guys fighting Gordon Ryan, and you're going to have to go to overtime, like Yuri Samoris or whatever, and start with him on your back, man, you're going to fight completely different.
Right.
You're going to try to take him out during that time limit, which also means you're going to be exposed more too. So I think that's a big reason of what's making people be a lot more exciting. I haven't seen an EBI yet that I didn't enjoy.
Right. Yeah, they run really. Are those some of the tournaments you feel like you like the best? Like, what would you say is your favorite one to compete in? Is there one would you say that stands out? Man,
I'll tell you the truth. I'd say, which I hope I get back once, before it's over with. But like Abu Dhabi, I would like to make it back there at least once, which I think is doable in the future. But man, that's hard to say. So far, I'm not gonna lie, I've had my most fun even though I know I've not won one or whatever. Like EBI has been pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, what about that? Do you like? I mean, is it like just a different environment? Is it just a lot more media? What do you feel is makes it different?
It's kind of crazy, but at that high of a level, it's like kind of like, man, to see, which this is one thing that kind of like really made me respect Eddie Bravo even more. That guy is seriously like really passionate about jiu-jitsu, and if you get to spend any amount of time around him, like that dude is 100% about jiu-jitsu. Like he freaking loves those things. Like, and just to hear him talk and stuff, he's always pumped about and he talks to everybody too. From the time he gets to one of those to the time he leaves, he's all the time. Like he doesn't turn people away. He talks to everyone. And he's and he's, which I don't mean it bad, but the guy's a little bit crazy. I guess we all are.
Yeah.
But
he's got a lot of conspiracy theories that he kind of, he kind of follows. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a little different. He's a little different for sure. Yeah,
his heart's in the right place for jiu-jitsu, though, regardless of his, of the other stuff. He's definitely like good for our sport, and he's helped us out a whole lot. I don't know, I'm some little pole hick or whatever, from a small town in Kentucky, but I've been able to get on the world stage just like in the last little bit. I'm actually in talks of doing seminars in Poland and what is that place? Freaking Pakistan or whatever.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if it's going to end up working out or not, but people are serious about it. If I have to choose between doing like a little seminar circuit or competing, of course it's going to be competing. I'm not doing it for the money. I can do that stuff when I get old if people still care enough about me doing jiu-jitsu to learn what I'm doing. Like for me, jiu-jitsu is my concern. Like competing, like the seminars are fun. Just like I taught one up in Ohio this last weekend, was a great time. But
what do you like about seminars? Is there anything you've noticed since you've gotten more attention that are you getting more requests for seminars? Is there, what do you feel? How do you like seminars? How do you like to incorporate them? How do you like to run them? Like if somebody wants to go to a seminar that you run.
Well, man, I pretty much know this, and I don't look at it as bad. But anytime somebody's asking me to do a seminar, it's going to be about leg locks. It's not going to be about anything else.
That's what you're known for. So
Yeah. No, I embrace that, man. I love leg locks. I'm, like I always tell people because they think it's all crazy that my favorite techniques are chokes. Yeah, but I'm not as good at them as what I am, competing with leg locks. So that happens to be what I use. But normally it's a thing I'll gauge people's ability and stuff, because some of them will be really raw. But like this last one, I got to show a lot of cool things, because I had, which I thought was cool, several black belts that came to my seminar as well, wanting to learn some of that stuff. So it was really humbling for me, getting these guys that actually care, they're wanting to learn that type of jiu-jitsu, so.
Are more people kind of like reaching out to you now since you've been competing more?
Yes, they are, but man, and it's nothing against people. Like I am kind of selective about where I do seminars and who I do them for, and it's not any, like I'm not one of those people. It's like, ooh, I can't do them because it's this guy or that guy. It's nothing like that. It's just that, like, man, I'm like freaking busy as I can be. Like, and a lot of people ask me too, because I've gotten a few different offers about doing leg lock instructionals and stuff. And there's one that I'm actually considering a little bit, but it falls back to that thing. I know nobody owns jiu-jitsu or its techniques, but man, I've had a lot of people put in a lot of work with me. Like Max Bishop, right now is putting in a lot of work with my leg locks. Josh Johnson, back in the day, or not really even that long ago, just a couple years ago, he was helping me, Steve Pierce, Scott Hensey, guys I train with now, I get a lot of help from them.
Yeah, but don't you think that, like, they would want you to, I guess, like, succeed? Like, I don't think that's you being... I feel like what you're saying is you're leaving people behind almost, or... Because a lot of people have basically helped you along to get you where you're at.
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, like Go Korshavicki, all these guys have had I've learned, like, I won't lie, like at this point I've learned most of my leg lock stuff from Max, and I think he's the reason why I'm starting to have a big jump with him now. And I'm doing a lot different grips on the straight ankles, and it's because of him. And like I finished my last 2 matches with that same grip, and that was from what I learned from Max.
I don't know a lot about Max. Tell me a little bit about how you guys, like, is he at the same gym as you, or how have you all get to know each other?
Well, and this is how my story starts, I guess, a little bit, but like. Years ago, I won a highest in Somerset. I was, I believe this was 2009. I think it was 2009. I won a highest in Somerset, and there were some good guys in it. Like at the time, like that had came in from Arkansas that was, winning the Nagas, winning a bunch of invite divisions and stuff. And I had a good day, man. I leg locked everyone, except for one guy, armbarred him. But like I had like 8 leg locks, and it was against Higheston guys and a bunch of other stuff. And but I was really, I always try to be really respectful. I don't try to be disrespectful to anybody. So, Max and Gokor, saw me, and they, I guess, liked how I was and how I wasn't cocky and stuff, and they invited me. Gokor invited me to come do a seminar the next day for free. So of course I took it up, and I and I won't lie, at the time I wasn't cocky or nothing, but I was like, I'm not going to roll crazy with him, because even at that time he was older. Man, he tied me in a knot, dude. Yeah. He beat the hell out of me. Like, his leg locked me left and right, would let him have his leg, and I couldn't do nothing with it. And he's just like, just beat the hell out of me. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I'd hate to be an asshole and roll with him, because you're going to get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. But, and he'd still do me the same way today. There's no doubt in my mind. I love that guy, but, like, and, I got through the Heisting events that I did and the seminars I went to, got to do enough time of training with a Gokor that he actually promoted me to level 5 instructor in Hyaston, which I've studied in Hyaston quite a bit now as well. A lot of my leg locks show that, but I hate it that the Kentucky affiliation isn't going on now anymore because I've kind of lost touch with Gokor as much as I'd like to see him and stuff. He did actually corner me at the first EBI I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping the next one he'll get to corner me again too. But like, man, Max is like Gokor's like highest, I guess, ranking American. He's actually a black belt in the Hyaston system.
What is that exactly? Can you kind of elaborate on what that system is?
It's basically like, and I'm trying to, upset anybody or anything because I know people start getting all worked up over this. But it's like, I look at it a lot as jiu-jitsu because, it's a lot of the same except you do heel hooks and you do the twisting leg locks and neck cranks.
Is there any? So what's the difference? I mean, it's still grappling, just with,
It's the same. You can wear the gi in it and do heel hooks and everything. Like,
so
if you've
what's
been
the
to
difference?
Hyaston, I don't think that there's really much of one. You just do heel hooks and chokes. Or neck cranks. That's
okay. So they allow neck cranking submissions.
So basically, old school jiu-jitsu, like that. Just like, man, a lot of people talk. I'm doing, the way I look at it, I'm doing the purest form of jiu-jitsu. There's, like doing heel hooks and stuff and neck cranks. That's how it was in the beginning. There wasn't rules. We made them. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Joe, do you think like people are going after you more, like in training, like since you're kind of been on some of these bigger shows? Do you feel like you have a bigger target on you now? Man,
those guys try to kill me all the time anyways because they know I'd be upset if they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, those guys always try and kill me. But, man, we got a really healthy training atmosphere. Like, we roll like savages, but everybody watches out for each other. Nobody gets offended because you're rolling hard. We understand that that's something that has to happen.
So I get better.
Yeah, and you're gonna get, and like, man, you can't be an asshole and crank stuff. Especially like, man, it is hard enough to not get hurt doing the right thing, let alone being malice.
Right.
Like I've got to feel like I'm not going to get my stuff broke off if I try to get out of something, in training or whatever. And I definitely, like, man, training's the best that it's ever been for me in the highest level, for sure. Like, I have nothing to complain about right now. And it's just going to get stronger. I think, along with the rest of Sean's schools, John Salter just freaking won Abu Dhabi trials. Got you all up there, Nick Albin.
Right. Yeah. True.
Hardy, man, it's crazy. You got so many good guys. We got some tough ones. Donnie Wallace he's got some awesome ones. Jordan Sullivan.
Jordan, Triple Crown.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm not trying to leave people out, like Warren Grace, all these guys, man, everybody's got such tough dudes, and it's just our affiliation alone. And that's right here. And then the other affiliations have really tough people, just like with Georgetown. Adam Gomez's guy is super tough. I go down there and train with them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Still super tough roles, man. They got some really, really good guys coming up, man. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for Kentucky's jiu-jitsu, for sure.
Yeah. So you said you wanted to do Abu Dhabi again? Is that what you were talking about earlier?
I would possibly at some point.
What's the route to get to that? Like, I mean, what would you have to do to get back on that stage? Man,
honestly, I believe for me, winning trials, and next year I'm gonna make a decision if I'm going to take a break or if I'm going to go forward. I might try to do the lightest weight class this time, or I'm going to do the 170 if I do it. So, but
now, do you have to get an invite to?
Do it the other way, yes. But for me, like I said, I mean, I think of that, you got to kind of prove that you're like the world's elite, not just, one of the tough guys or whatever. I'm hoping, like maybe win trials. That would be my route. I think it's doable for sure. It's not a road I haven't crossed before.
Is that so that as far as that goes, that's going to be one of your main goals to accomplish? And you got EBI coming up as well.
Man, honestly, my getting back to Abu Dhabi would be great, but I won't lie. My main goal in Jiu-Jitsu right now is to, I don't know, winning an EBI would be what I would like to do.
Is there anything you feel you need to do? To win? Is there anything you were going to do differently?
I think I'm doing those things and coming down in weight. Because man, everybody's so tough. I'm giving myself the best possible chances that I can in order to have success. But I'll go up, and this next one will be very, very important to at least have a very strong performance, to ensure my future in EBI. Because, man, if I go there because, I wasn't happy about the Wagner performance at all, I need to go there and give a very, very strong performance to ensure my future in EBI. But in between, I can, like these Zapateros, my goals for it, of course, is to go and try and win my super fight coming up. And then they're having a 16-man in July for Zapatero at 160, and I've already committed to it. Our Chase Davis is committed as well. Like, I would like for one of us to win it, if at all possible. Of course, Zapatero always brings in, some Danaher guys and stuff too. So it's not going to be a walkthrough, but it'll be in Nashville and stuff. So hopefully I can draw a little bit of power off that.
What's the format going to be for that 16-man tournament? Is it just going to be submission only or overtime?
Basically EBI rules.
EBI rules. So like 10-minute matches.
And then the overtime's the same way.
Now, go back to that EBI with Wagner Rocha. Do you feel like, man, he was kind of at all? Was everything he did within the rules in your opinion?
Yeah.
So you feel like kind of putting that pressure? He didn't really hit you, but he kind of put really heavy pressure on your. I don't know. It seemed like a little bit. He played a little different game than a lot of people.
Yeah, he did. He does that. Like, he couldn't pass my guard and got frustrated, and and I wasn't able to sweep him, so it kind of turned into he was getting frustrated and trying to break me mentally, and like that. I feel like I'm a pretty mentally strong person, so you can rub a hole in my face with your head. I'm still not going to give up my guard from that. You're going to have to actually do a pass.
Yeah. Do you feel like anything in that performance you could have done differently as well?
Yeah, several things, man. And I'm like I said, it bothered me bad. Like when that match was over with, and I was like and I wasn't tired or whatever. That really bothered me. I don't feel but he did a smart job. He passed to my weak side, which is no longer going to be a problem. I did not expect that. Like, man, he did some things where he was like, it was the first time I'd faced somebody in a long time where I felt like they were a little bit of a veteran on me, like maybe he had some, he was ahead of the game of me a little bit more. But next time, I think if which I like Wagner a lot. I liked him before then, but Zapatero was brought up, possibly doing like a 20-minute match between me and him, or maybe a fight to win or whatever. I don't really care. I just want to fight the toughest guys. I mean, I would do it, of course, but it's not a malice thing. I like Wagner.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. But, it's one of those things that I do believe, I know I can submit him. it's one of those things. I just got to get better, man, and I'm doing that right now.
Do you feel like he maybe game planned for you? Like he kind of watched your game and just kind of – do you feel like that's kind of why he passed to your weak side, or do you feel like he was seeing some of your matches?
I think he definitely did, man. And then also he was able to do something which really bothered me. Like, we were about 7 minutes into it, and I mentally let him make me panic because I was like, man, I got to do something here. I got, because he hadn't passed, or it was somewhere around there, that time frame. But he hadn't passed, and I hadn't swept him or got anything off. I would invert and he would back out. And I was like, man, this is like the same thing over and over. So I quit inverting, and then it just kind of turned into that game of where he was grinding down,
Right.
And I was still unable to get anywhere. So finally I just said, heck with it. I went for, something that I knew was going to be nothing. And of course he passed off of it. And then I wasn't sorry for it because I got the only leg lock attempt for the whole match right there.
Right.
And of course, he was able to defend it, but I should have been doing that earlier. But like next time, it's not a problem. I'll be able to combat that. He'll submit me in regulation, or I'll submit him in regulation before that happens like that again.
Do you feel like, with getting opponent changes so frequently and kind of close to the match time, do you ever game plan for your opponents, and does that getting those changes make it difficult?
Man, I'm happy to fight. I'd like to consider myself a gamer. Like I respect everyone. I honestly do, but I believe in myself and my ability and my team, because I know how tough my training is and how tough everyone else is and how strong my Jiu-Jitsu association is. So I feel confident. Like, I really don't feel anybody like I would be like, man, I don't have a chance against them. That doesn't exist in my mind.
Yeah. You don't think there's like a fight that you would pull out of, or if you feel like, No,
absolutely not. Like, now I'm trying to be more, I guess, professional about it now. What I mean is you probably won't see me doing a lot more freak matches anymore because I don't feel like at this point they're needed. I probably won't be doing like, super fights 2 weight classes ahead of mine. And I won't say I'll never do something like that, but like I'm really trying to reach my full potential and do the most I can in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, how much longer do you feel like you want to compete at? Do you? I know we talked last time. You say you didn't know. Do you have a better grasp on that now?
Man, I've talked to Bobby and Dave and everyone, and they told me that I should gauge it by when I quit getting better. And man, I've got several ideas, but you never know what you're going to do until you do it. But it's kind of weird for me, man. Like, started competing when I was 15 years old. I don't see myself ever, like, I don't know. I'd like to think at some point I might stop, but I don't know if that exists.
Yeah.
Like, I know I say that I'm trying to leave myself open for a break next year and stuff, but.
Do you feel like your body's declined at all? Like, do you feel like maybe your strength or speed or explosiveness as you've gotten older?
I've been so unathletic this whole time and fought out of shape basically the whole time that, like, man, I'm just now getting in shape. I'm just for the first time, like, I won't know what I would have been like if I would have been, I've never been an explosive person. I'm not saying that. My stuff has came off my technique,
Right.
But like, but what I'm saying is if I'd have been in like all ripped up and stuff at like 25 or something, like, in the weight I should have been at, I mean, I don't know how I would have done. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things I needed to go through all this and it happened exactly how it is. Maybe I'm going to be one of them that primes in my older years.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not talking trash about anybody about this, but you can look at me and tell I don't use steroids. I don't care anybody that uses the stuff or whatever else, but I think that's a big reason why I'm still able to continue to, what do you want to call it, improve physically. And because, you know, I'm not young, but I'm not old, you know.
Right.
But I'm still getting in my best condition of my life that I've ever been in because, you know, I don't have to take something to get me there.
Yeah.
I've never took, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm, you know, perfect, just like somebody who, you know, has smoked pot before in their life. It don't make them a pothead. You know,
right.
I'm not I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm not a juice head or whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying my game, like I've, you know, not been dependent upon that stuff. And, you know, when I was younger, I freaking did a cycle of testosterone that, you know, and wasn't for me. I didn't continue to do it, you know, and I haven't messed with it since. But, I mean, I'm just saying that you can look at me and tell that I don't.
Why do you feel like you didn't get in the best shape until now? Was there something like with motivation or what do you feel like, or discipline? Why do you think you weren't able to, you know, get your weight where you needed it to be?
Man, I'll be honest with you. Like outside of jiu-jitsu, I've had a whole lot of stuff happen.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, like maybe that robbed me a little bit.
So it's like some personal things that may have affected, you know.
Yeah, I had a really rough time, like after, as silly as it is. I mean, I had good upbringings, you know, my parents were really good people. I don't have a, you know, a thug story to tell you or anything. Like, you know, I came from, you know, good parents and stuff. You know, just had some events happen in my life I didn't have control of, lost everything I had, you know, and went through like a really, really dark spell for a few years. But, you know, it's not the case now, you know, and I think a lot of it shows.
Do you feel like that's helped you, though? I mean, like you said, maybe you were meant to go through all that stuff to kind of get to where you're at now. You feel like maybe you had to go through all that bad stuff to kind of finally get, you know, get your time to shine almost? I
guess, man. It's one of those things I guess we don't really know till it's over with. But I know this, like I'm just like a lot of people are kind of like laugh about my attitude, you know, because I always say like losing a grappling match is a white girl problem. Yeah. Man, losing, like having a family to support and losing your job and having in like your house and your car and everything, now that's a problem, man.
Right.
I've been through that stuff.
Right.
Losing a grappling match is not a problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of, you know, you go at it, obviously, you know, to do your best, but you don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Is that kind of the right way to think about it?
I mean, I always want to do my best, but I enjoy it. You know, like I have fun with this. You know, I'm like, man, I'm going to do my best to submit that guy. That's how I want to fight. You know, I want people to perceive me as somebody who wants to go out and finish. Like, you know, just like when I fight somebody, they really don't have much mystery to what I'm going to do. Yeah, and that's cool. You know, like, man, there's a lot of people that I think is like that a little bit. I mean, that's kind of what competitive jiu-jitsu is about, is implying your game. Yeah. You know, so it's, I know, what I know and what I don't know really plays no bearings. Like, when you compete, you got to do what you're best at. Right.
Well, I think it's interesting because you're basically telling people, well, I'm going to do this specific technique, and then you go out there and you execute it, even though they know you're going to do that technique. I think that's a true sign of being very, very skilled at your craft.
Well, it's the same thing that I tell the guys at the gym. I'm like, man, when because drilling's important, you know, and that's a big thing I've learned from Sean, and I do drill, you know. I'll keep that part a secret a little bit, something that I do that I feel like has given me a really, really big advantage on leg lock transitions and things, you know. Well, you know, maybe later on I'll tell that, but that, you know, it's just one of those things that give me an advantage.
Yeah.
But,
keep that to yourself right now.
Yeah, for right now.
I got you.
But like, you know, like, man, it's just weird. It's like when you are going for a leg lock. This is the way I tell guys how they know they're going to be able to pull it off in a competition. It's like when you're able to do a technique and your training partner is sound and he knows exactly what you're doing and he's unable to stop it, then you can do it in a tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's been pretty much one of the blueprints for our success, you know, like man, there's plenty of people like that are, you know, a lot tougher than me. I'm not saying that. I believe that I'm current, that I'm definitely a staple right now that, like, you know, they're, you know, like, hey, he's going to be a tough fight regardless of who I face, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, like, we bring up Marcelo. Man, I'm not going to be able to do anything against Marcelo Garcia if I was to face him. I mean, that's okay though. Like, I'm not complaining or anything about it. It's just the way it is.
There's just different levels. There's different levels for sure, and it makes sense, man. There's definitely different levels of you know, leg lockers, just like there's different levels of black belts or brown belts or whatever. I mean, you know, I've gone against some black belts, and then I've also gone against, you know, obviously, you know, in training at the gym, I've gone against black belts, but also gone against, I say it all the time, I go against Chad. I'll never, you know, Chad Hardy, who's one of the younger guys, he's a black belt, and man, I'll never, you know, skip a chance to go with him, because I feel like even though he gets the better of me, I always learn, I always get a little better, you know, after training with him, and it's hard to take your ass whipping sometimes, but you got to do it.
Yeah, man, and you know, that's what it's about. I mean, for real, is like being able to squash your ego and still compete anyways, you know. Like, man, just like we were talking, you know, like I'm fortunate, man. I enjoy being out there. I don't like, I want to be aware. I want to see everything that's going on. That's why I don't get real nervous, like, because and plus, you know, those people with nerves and everything that come out, I want to take advantage of that. I'm going to just start firing off the finish on them, because maybe it's going to get the better of them in the first 30 seconds. That's their problem, that they're nervous.
Not being able to react.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe a lot of times that's why I'm able to get a lot of finishes that I am. You know, but you know, I've also been finished that way. Just, you know, one of those things, you just can't fear it. Do you feel like you get nerves still? Like, I mean, do you ever get nervous before matches anymore? I think everybody, like, man, I don't know. I'm sure there's some guys that don't. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've got to be around Gordon quite a few times and just watch him. And, man, I honestly don't know if he gets them or not. I mean, maybe he does. I mean, I don't know. Some people are like that. But, like, man, I get them a little bit. But I've did this so much that I kind of get annoyed by them. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, I'm not getting nervous. This is like, I've did it too many times. It's just like, it's not even worth my time. If I lose, I'll live. If I win, I'll live. You know, either way is not going to change my world, you know. You know, it's not going to, like, oh man, let's just say something crazy happened. I went out and let's say I faced like Eddie Cummings or somebody, and I like heel hooked them. You know, everybody's going to be excited about it, but it's not really going to change my life. You know, it's not going to, it's not, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe I get like a little bit more publicity or something like that, but it's not going to be the end of the, you know, I mean, or the, like the
makes sense.
High stuff. And then, you know, the other side of the sword, if he heel hooks me, or one of them, I tap and I go on. It's not going to change my world, Either way, it's not that big of a
is
deal.
that kind of what goes through your mind, like before a big match or a tournament, you just kind of just put it all in perspective?
I do, but I'm honestly, man, still to this day, I'm really hungry. Like, I'm always really hungry.
Awesome.
Like, I want to finish the person. Like, man, it's what I do. I'm like, man, I really want to finish him. And it's not a disrespectful thing at all. But
not at all. I understand.
I'm just like, man, I really want to go out there and finish this dude. Like, and it's not a bad thing, I mean, no disrespect. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
I mean, somebody needs to look at themselves. I know it's going to happen, but somebody honestly goes out with the intent to hurt somebody, they're wrong, man. This is not what this is about. Like, I want to win. I mean, don't get me wrong. I look at it as disrespectful if I put somebody in a leg lock, especially, when you got these higher level guys and they don't tap. I have no way of knowing what their joints can take because some people can take a lot more.
Right.
So I'm going to feel zero bad about it if I do break it or blow the joint out or whatever else, because if I was in that and I was caught, I would have tapped.
Yeah.
So I feel zero. But, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a butthole, you got hurt. Of course I'm going to feel bad about it, but I'm not going to feel sorry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have done that.
What's kept you hungry? Like, what's kept you motivated? Is there anything that's, because you've been competing since you were 15. Like, what's kept you really motivated and hungry? Do you feel like this, like, renewed kind of grappling, like these grappling matches, super fights and stuff? Is that what's kind of motivated you to kind of step up, or? Man,
honestly, I think because I don't know, I went there for a couple of years where I kind of fell to the wayside, and then I had a resurgence, where like right now I'm, definitely I feel like guys, view me as a honest threat,
Yeah.
If they don't, and I mean this is as respectfully as I can, they should, man. Go in and take me lightly. Like, let me have your leg. Please do that. If you don't believe, you will. I respect everyone. I take nobody lightly. Nothing is ever certain. Anybody tells you, like, just like I've got a match coming up in Knoxville. I believe fighting John Hosford, or I'm trying to remember, but Matt. Like, I've heard nothing but good things. I know he's a little bit older, but like man, I know it's going to be a tough fight. I just got that feeling, I got that feeling ahead of time. He's going to have that. I feel like maybe that slow, methodical game, and he's going to be strong. And I won't lie. I respect him very much. I see myself submitting him, but I feel like it's going to be a tough war. The next fight, like the Padilla at Zapatero, it's going to be a war, but I mean, I really believe in myself. I believe I'm going to submit him, no disrespect to him, but like it's one of those things. I'm hungry, I've got to, for no more than my passion for jiu-jitsu. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, man. That's why I never take breaks. I always train. I love it. I love getting better. Also, I've got people behind me like Sean and all my guys at the gym. Like, I want to help push the gym forward. I want to help open doors for them to be able to maybe get shots and compete. And that's a big thing. Why? I know a lot of people wonder why I might compete so much.
Yeah.
Each time I compete at one of these places, I get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And, and like, man, it's each time it's helping. Like, I know he may not think it's that big of a deal, but like, that Tennessee tournament is the first, I'm trying to think. No, I did one before that in Ohio, but Brad Hatcher's tournament is the first one that I had did, in the Tennessee area or in the Kentucky area. It was my second tournament ever, And it was just crazy. I ended up having 2 matches that day. I got armbarred pretty fast. I was a young doing adult divisions, and I really didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. But I was there. I was ready to compete. And it's kind of cool to me that now I've won several super fights. One is is no-gi absolutes a few times. A couple times. Like I said, several super fights up there. Now I got Chase doing he's doing the 4-man pro invite there, and I'm doing a pro grappling match. So it's a big deal for me. It's like kind of he's going to where I began almost. So it's kind of cool to get to do with him.
Joe, what was it like winning when you were a fight to win 29? You won the submission of the night. What was that like for you to get? I think you got a little money out of it, I think, or something. Muscle Farm sponsorship, I think.
Yeah, I got the Muscle Farm sponsorship. I still don't know how that works. They haven't. I guess it takes them a little while to send you the stuff or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm telling you that, and I'm not talking bad about them, of course. No. I'd be able to tell you more about it, but I don't even know what it consists of yet.
How's your other sponsorships been going?
Hayabusa, man, they are awesome. They freaking send me all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I love their stuff too. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Defense Soap has always had my back. Always, like from Abu Dhabi, they've sponsored me, but Hayabusa, for sure. Like, I love their stuff, man.
Is that like a recent sponsorship that you got?
Hayabusa started sponsoring me right at my second EBI.
Okay.
And dude, they've sent me all kinds of stuff. They take care of me. So that and like I said, their stuff is super high quality.
Right.
So
and make it.
Yeah. It's my favorite gi I've ever had is the one they got me.
Yeah.
So,
is there how did those sponsorships come about?
Actually, my good buddy Adam Gomez was in contact with him.
Nice.
And, they had contacted me about the first EBI, but I kind of already settled in with somebody else.
Uh-huh.
I wish I would have went with them then, but no big deal. I ended up getting them after the second one, and like I said, they've really been good to me, man. That kind of, I guess the guy knows a little bit about grappling and maybe saw that I might be, getting a little bit of heat behind me. And
yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. And some perception, they may be right. So.
Maybe. Yeah, you're getting a lot more attention.
Yeah.
For sure, dude. Do you see yourself making your way into the Louisville area anytime? Training or seminars, anything like that?
Man, I need to come down there for sure. I've talked to Chewy about it a lot.
Come on down, man. We're ready. We're ready to learn some leg locks.
Yeah, man, for sure. I had at Taylorsville. I've taught a few seminars down at Scott Smith School.
Right, you were. Yep. So you were in Louisville. How long ago was that? A few months ago, probably.
Yeah, you're right, buddy. It's probably been about that.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's good, man. It'll be great to have you and bring a couple of your guys down and just train. It'd be fun because we do some leg locks. We're not as leg lock heavy, and it's fun to learn and get better for sure.
I want to learn some of them freaking triangle setups and stuff that Hardy does.
Chad does, yeah, man.
Man, he's slick with those things.
Yeah, he's he can triangle anybody from anywhere. It's crazy. It's fun. Man. Everybody's got their thing they're really good at. Chewy's got a certain game he plays, and Chad's got a certain game he plays, and you just try to take bits and pieces of everybody, and everybody's getting better at leg locks, and we're learning leg locks, and Chad's really good at leg locks, so we just kind of. It's fun, man. It's fun to have people come through and just learn and pick up different techniques or tweaks on stuff. It's just cool.
Yeah, man. No. But yeah, I'm really happy about stuff. And I mean, just like, I don't know, so many people doing stuff like Chewy winning Pan Ams and all the stuff he's won, Fight to Win. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been killing it in chat. And they did the Ego a couple weeks ago, I think, or a week ago or something like that.
Yeah,
man.
The
Absolute, and they did great. I mean, they both looked really dominant. So
I was happy about, like, man, I hate to say stuff, but like, I was really happy he was able to beat that one cat that all the time talks about. I don't know. Like, I don't even know about him. I just know him from everybody saying, this guy's making smart butt videos. And then I did hear something about how he said, it's like another Ego, and I'm going to win it again.
Oh, is that the bigger guy that...
yeah, Chewy kind of smacked around a little bit. I was glad. I actually watched it, as bad as that is.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, man. I was like...
He was a big dude, man. He was a big dude. And Chewy had a really calculated game plan, and he was just...
Yeah, it was real smart.
He was smart game. It was awesome to watch. It really was awesome to watch.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I actually watched the video of it. I mean, he wasn't bad. I mean, I think most of his stuff is just... He was just so big, man.
Yeah,
but I mean, definitely, though, he got put on his back and didn't really have much of an answer for it.
Right.
I mean, which not many people is with Nick. So
yeah, Chewy's a beast, man. You guys have a lot of just guys that are just super tough too, and nice guy, man. It's fun. It's fun to see everybody and kind of train to get some different people through it. I think it's a lot of fun, man. So. Joe, man, is there anything else? I'll let you go, brother. I appreciate it again, as always. I'll try to, you got the Zapatero coming up, and you got the EBI coming up soon. Is there anything you want to say?
Hopefully, and like, man, I can't really say too much, but hopefully in the future, I'm really hoping that I'm going to be fighting AJ Agrazam. Say this, if it does happen, I know he's as big a butt as he is. If I have to pull him down to the ground, I will hug him after it's over with.
Yeah, he seems like he's one of those guys definitely that gets under people's skin. For sure, he's got a different attitude, personality, for sure.
I don't care if he tries to run off from me. I'm going to run him down and hug him anyways.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell the prediction of the because I'll have to get rough and stuff too when we go against each other. It's just the way it is. But after it's over with, he's not going to be a D-bag and not hug me. He's going to give me a hug.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, I don't think there's any mistaking that you're super respectful, man. You're always respectful of everybody you've gone against, from what I've seen, and I don't think you have anything to worry about in that aspect. I think you're definitely a good ambassador for jiu-jitsu and for Kentucky jiu-jitsu in general. We got a lot of great jiu-jitsu players coming out of Kentucky, and it's just good to have at least some people getting a little notice in the big tournaments, and it's just fun, man. It's good. I think you're an awesome representative of Sean Hammond's association, and it's fun, dude. It's fun to watch you compete for sure, and we're rooting for you, definitely. So.
Well, man, thank you, buddy. And like I said, everybody that's showing me all your support and everything. Now, I appreciate it. Don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, so I will continue to try to be aggressive and look for finishes.
Yeah, man, you always do. So it's fun to watch for sure. We know what to expect when you go out there.
But yeah, like I said, man, I got some tough fights ahead of me. And I got a lot of tougher training to do. So
awesome, dude. Well, thank you for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad we finally got it together. And if you got anybody that you feel like would help to get on the podcast, I mean, I'd love to have them on. Whoever you train with, up and comers, whoever, man. I like talking to people. So
I'll tell you one that will be great to get on, actually, and he's not even with us. Adam Gomez.
All right, I'll get him on, man. I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, he's on Georgetown MMA. He's the owner of it. Look him up. He's a good dude.
I think we're friends on Facebook, and I don't know if we've really talked to each other before, but I don't know a ton about Adam, so it'd be interesting. Yeah, definitely. I'll reach out to him and kind of get a little information from him too. It'd be fun to talk to him.
And Bobby Emmons will give you a really fun one.
All right,
So,
I'll write. Reach out to them, man. Let them know, and I'd love to have them on.
all right, brother.
All right, dude.
Thank
Joe,
you.
I appreciate it, brother. Good, best of luck to you, and keep on doing what you're doing, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you. I'll see
All
you,
right,
brother.
buddy. Talk to you later.
All right.
As always, thank you to my guest, Joe Baize, for hanging out with me for the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And check out more podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher, and more videos on injury prevention and rehab for BJJ on the Jiu-Jitsu Therapist YouTube channel. And thank you guys for the support. Appreciate it. JiujitsuTherapist.com is where you can get all that other stuff. And I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time for another podcast.